This is one of our longer form videos where we give some recommendations for Christmas gift ideas for makers and menders out there. So we're going to go dive into a little bit more detail about the product recommendations, and we're going to start with these, which are Toyo Steel, which is a Japanese company that's been making toolboxes for many years, and they run a very traditional style of toolbox. They're very simple, so they're made from pressed steel, and the quality goes into the construction and the paint finishes rather than putting plastic trays or things that you don't need. So these three are just straight empty toolboxes. The bigger one is a cantilever design, so it does have some compartments into it, but generally these are just for storing tools. They come in a range of amazing colors. So the blue is the traditional Japanese tradesman's color, but we have obviously the olive greens, the reds, and then some more unusual colors that we've got in for Christmas as well, which is antique green and antique brown. But they're all listed on the website, so if you want to have a look at the color options on them. One of our favourites is this, which is the Y350, often called a barn top. This increases the volume of the toolbox, making it really, really useful for either the toolbox that sits in the house or maybe in a vehicle. But then also this smaller one, which is the T190, is stackable. So these little dimples on the bottom allow those to be stacked. So you get multiple different coloured ones, or all the same in a stack. This is the T320 and this is an ST350. So I say they're all on the website, but simple, well-made, really good quality, and not limited to just tools. We've had people buy them for art supplies, seeds, sewing kits, anything where you need a storage solution that keeps things secure. They're a great option. So difficult to go wrong on that. And color options, you can buy various different colors. Speaking about color, these are the hammers that we produce. It's a hickory handle and obviously a steel head, but the key point of difference is we paint the handles in the same way as the Canadian lumberjacks do, and on the axes that we sell, and even onto the skatewood axe that we do. We thought, why not just limit that to axes? The idea is still the same. It makes them easier to find when you put down. And to be honest, for most people, a hammer is a more usable tool on a regular basis than perhaps an axe. So we will have a range of those ready to go for Christmas. We can do custom colours. If you get in contact, we can do some custom colours or that, but we'll have a range of custom colours ready to go for Christmas. And we also do an engineer style ball peen head as well, so we can do that, but the claw hammer is probably more useful for most people. And the person you're buying for has probably got a garage or a workshop full of screwdrivers, but these are a little bit different. These are the elementary screwdrivers. They're made by a sash window restorer based in London. And what he's done is taken a very traditional joiner screwdriver design, but then changed it up because you have interchangeable bits. So this element stays and just gets better with age. And then this is the head that you drop in magnetically. And these are universal. These are 1/4 inch hex. Most power tools run these heads. So you can easily get replacements. You can easily get other options like Allen keys to fit in there if you wanted to go. And then this is the number 2. So this is the number 1. This set together is called a number 3 set, but this is a little stubby screwdriver designed to fit into the palm of your hand for really difficult to get locations. Not used as often as the bigger screwdriver, but for a job where this is the only tool that can do it, that's intrinsically useful. So really great. So anybody, you may go, well, they've got a lot of screwdrivers. They'll still appreciate that because of the quality of the manufacturing and the fact that it's got that interchangeable bit. And then one final screwdriver is this. King Dick, a real traditional English tool manufacturer, has made a really unusual head. So this looks like a very standard screwdriver, but this head piece is patented and it's called a 1 for 6. So normally with both Phillips and Posse, you have 3 different sizes of each, and you need a different size head to fit those screws. This one will do all 6 of those, from the smallest to the largest, with 1 screwdriver. It does compromise on all of them slightly, but what this is great for is for a tool that sits in a toolkit where you don't know the size that you'll need, or sitting in a drawer in the house where you just need to fit some batteries in some fairy lights, or tighten up a plug, or the hinges on your kitchen door. This is a great tool for that. So if you're doing 100 screws all the same size, you're better off with the correct screwdriver. But for just tightening up various different sizes, really great tool. And again, the person you're buying for would appreciate that. And talking about tradition, Hultafors is a Swedish company. They're best known for their axes, and we sell a lot of their axes, but they also invented, if that's such a thing, or were the first patent on this, a folding ruler. So this is a 2 metre ruler. We did well with these during lockdown when the old socially distancing was a thing. But they are just beautiful, if that's the right word for them, and incredibly useful. So they can fold up, sit in a toolbox, sit in the house. Really useful if you're measuring things like fabric, where you need something to push against. You know, the roll-up metal tapes sometimes are a bit problematic, so you can run yards with this, meters of fabric. And just cleverly done, simple, and just a beautiful, beautiful thing to put into a toolbox. So greatly appreciated. And then Allen keys. So Allen keys or hex keys are becoming increasingly common, not just on IKEA furniture and not just on bicycles, which is is my passion and where I've always used them. I'm seeing them more and more across as standard fitting. So having a good quality set of Allen keys is really important. Barco are great for that. They own all of their factories, so their quality control is outstanding. And the color coding and this keeping it in a set is really useful. So you can get to know that a 3mm is a red. You can spot it when you put it down. You can see when it's missing because you haven't put it back into the set. So really, really useful set to have. A lot of people may have some tatty old ones and they've got free when they're buying flat pack furniture. Upgrading to these makes a huge difference. So really good purchase. And the last thing I'm going to recommend is where we started as a company. And we started making tool rolls of all things. And that's because I eventually inherited one that my grandfather had made just after the Second World War. He gave it to me when he was in his 90s because he was still using it up until then. And it was a bit of a Goldilocks size. It just fit and carried the tools I wanted to do and just really, really good. So eventually it was starting to wear out. So this is a copy of that. So we've copied the size and the style, but we've upgraded the fabric. So the fabric is a waxed cotton canvas made from a mill up in Lancashire. It's got solid brass D-rings. It's got a laser etched leather logo patch. Tool rolls are simple things, but we put a load of quality in to make these last. They're very useful for in vehicles because toolboxes tend to rattle when they're in the back of a vehicle, whereas a tool roll keeps everything compressed and tight. We sell a lot of these for classic car enthusiasts that may need specific tools for a specific vehicle, so they have different sets. But they're equally as at home inside the house, where you might want a set of tools that are clean and stay in the house rather than having to go out into a workshop or a garage or a shed to get tools when you need to do those jobs. And they are the recommendations for makers, menders,